The video game industry, valued at over $200 billion, stands as a testament to the power of digital entertainment. Despite its financial might, it remains susceptible to economic fluctuations and corporate restructuring. Recently, the industry has been shaken by a disheartening development: the layoffs at NetherRealm Studios, a studio renowned for its pivotal role in the fighting game genre. In this video, we'll dive into the circumstances surrounding these layoffs, examining the impact on the studio, its employees, the franchise, and the broader gaming community.
Welcome to another bite-sized episode of the Realm Kast. I'm your host, the Mortal Kombat fan, Tim.
And I'm Yanni.
NetherRealm Studios was founded in 2010, following the bankruptcy and buyout of Midway Games, a company that had long been a mainstay in the gaming world. Under the stewardships of Ed Boon and his team, NetherRealm quickly re-established itself as a powerhouse in the fighting game genre.
With groundbreaking titles like Mortal Kombat in 2011 and Injustice: Gods Among Us, the studio not only revived the iconic Mortal Kombat series, but also introduced innovative gameplay mechanics and narrative depth to the genre. NetherRealm's success underscored its role as a key player in the gaming industry, celebrated for its creativity and technical prowess. Despite NetherRealm's continued contributions to the gaming world with the mentioned and later titles, the studio's recent layoffs have cast a shadow over its achievements. The announcement of these layoffs in July 2024, as part of Warner Bros. Discovery, WBD's broader restructuring strategy, has raised concerns about the studio's future and WBD's strategic direction. The layoffs came just under a year from the release of NetherRealm's most recent console release, Mortal Kombat 1, and mobile release Mortal Kombat Onslaught, and still riding high on the commercial success of Mortal Kombat 11, a title that, in the words of GameSpot, had been commercially successful, raising questions about the necessity of such drastic measures. This sudden move appears to be at odds with the studio's reported performance and success. We have delved into the true profitability of the Mortal Kombat franchise since the Warner Bros. Acquisition in a previous Bitesized episode. If you haven't watched it, we highly recommend it, as we dissect the true value of the Mortal Kombat name. But was the value of the Mortal Kombat name alone enough to sustain the studio in the long term? WBD has been undergoing significant restructuring since its merger with Discovery Inc., a process aimed at streamlining operations and reducing costs. This restructuring has led to a series of layoffs across various divisions, but for Mortal Kombat fans, NetherRealm Studios has been a notable casualty. The announcement of these layoffs and their almost immediate effect was a shock to both the gaming community and the industry at large. The decision to cut jobs in a studio that had consistently delivered claimed successful titles like Mortal Kombat 11 and Injustice 2, and now Mortal Kombat 1, raises questions about WBD's long-term strategy and its impact on the creative core of the studio. On July 18, 2024, NetherRealm Studios announced the closure of mobile game Mortal Kombat Onslaught, only 9 months after its release. This is a decision that has added to the growing sense of uncertainty surrounding the studio amidst fan criticism of its most recent console game, Mortal Kombat 1. This closure was particularly significant given the game's relatively recent release and its ambitious design. Mortal Kombat Onslaught is an action-adventure beat-em-up role-playing mobile game developed by NetherRealm Studios and released on October 17, 2023. Representing a departure from the studio's traditional fighting game format, Onslaught was the fourth installment in the Mortal Kombat franchise to not adhere so strictly to the fighting game genre. Instead, Onslaught combines the franchise's combat gameplay with a full cinematic storyline somewhat reminiscent of a free-to-play mobile multiplayer online battle arena mobile game. The game aimed to deliver a new experience by integrating strategic team-based elements and group melee combat into the Mortal Kombat universe. Ed Boon, a key figure at NetherRealm Studios, originally expressed enthusiasm about the game's development, stating, "We are pushing the boundaries of Mortal Kombat to allow players to experience the franchise in new ways, while still staying true to its core visceral nature." This bold reimagining was stated to be intended to broaden the appeal of the Mortal Kombat series and attract a diverse player base by offering an innovative gameplay experience whilst tapping into the mobile industry further in addition to previous forays with MK Mobile and Injustice 2 Mobile. But despite the game's promising vision and its potential to capture a new segment of the market, as well as the positive reception by the fanbase aside from the monetization methods, the abrupt decision to close Mortal Kombat Onslaught has been a blow to both the studio and its fans. The closure not only underscored the turbulent environment at NetherRealm, but also highlighted the impact of WBD layoffs, all in addition to the unstable support given to NetherRealm, or rather WBD, releases. In the wake of the closure, the studio sought to provide some reassurance to its community by announcing on its Discord server that Mortal Kombat Mobile and Injustice 2 Mobile would continue to receive full support. This announcement seemingly attempts to reassure a degree of stability and continuity for fans, employees, and most importantly, shareholders, amid the volatile changes. However, the impact of the closure of Onslaught, coupled with the layoffs, are leaving many questioning the future direction and long-term planning of NetherRealm Studios and more broadly, WBD.
Following the layoffs, many media sources highlighted the personal toll this had on former employees, with many feeling betrayed by a company they had devoted significant parts of their careers to. The human cost of these decisions cannot be overstated, as they not only disrupt careers, but also affect the personal lives and well-being of those involved. The personal accounts from laid-off employees further illuminate the gravity of this situation. Tony Lazzara, a former quality assurance analyst and software developer, shared his experience on LinkedIn. He stated,
"Unfortunately, yesterday NetherRealm's mobile team was shut down. A ton of very talented people were put out of work. We had live services on multiple titles such as Mortal Kombat Mobile, Injustice 2, and Mortal Kombat Onslaught. I was also affected."
Similarly, Elizabeth Ramirez, Nava, a former animator at NetherRealm Studios, expressed her sentiments on LinkedIn.
"It hurts me to announce I've been laid off from NetherRealm Studios after about 10 years of working there. I will be seeking new opportunities as an animator for games or film. I have experience with animating motion capture in Autodesk Motion Builder, hand key animation in Maya, and processing motion capture data."
These testimonials reflect the deep emotional and professional impact on the affected employees, many of whom have spent significant portions of their careers contributing to the studio's success and have clearly been shocked into what has become a sudden and immediate search for new positions. But it's not just the employees who were affected by this decision, as some fans are outraged by the layoffs at NetherRealm Studios, viewing it as a betrayal of the studio's legacy and the loyalty of its fan base. Many fans, both of whom have enjoyed and didn't enjoy Mortal Kombat 1, expressed their disappointment, as Mortal Kombat Onslaught seemed like the last remnants of the previous era, before the new era rebooted timeline.
Not only that, but the decision to shut the game down on October 21st, 2024 mentions in-game purchases being disabled as of August 23rd, 2024, highlighting another concern for certain players. Considering the monetization model for the game, many players have essentially put money into a game only for the paid content to have lasted just about 1 year, thus leading to less inclination to pay for NRS or WBD products in the future. This reaction from the fan base underscores the disconnect between corporate decision-making and the values and expectations of the gaming community. But could this affect the future of Mortal Kombat games? The trend of layoffs in the gaming industry raises concerns about the future of creativity and innovation, as talented developers are often the first to be cut in cost-saving measures. The layoffs at NetherRealm Studios not only threaten to undermine the studio's ability to innovate, but also risk eroding the core of the gaming industry. In an industry where competition is fierce and innovation is key, the loss of talented developers can have far-reaching consequences. The decision by Warner Bros. Discovery to suddenly lay off staff at a studio known for its creativity and success raises concerns about the future direction of both the studio and the broader industry. As the gaming world grapples with these changes, it remains to be seen how NetherRealm Studios and WBD will navigate the challenges ahead, and whether the industry will find a way to balance financial pressures with the need for creative excellence.
We mentioned earlier that it is very innovative. They've done stuff such as like the 2D sprites in the 90s, which was like such a wild concept, and put it on the map with Mortal Kombat. I say NetherRealm, but that was Midway. And then what NetherRealm Studios has done with motion capture and facial recognition in video games like Mortal Kombat 11, their face models were amazing. And part of this is because in order to stay innovative like this, you're bringing in new people who are coming up with new ideas, and they're doing new things. And when you cut out a big portion of your team, like it has lasting effects on these type of corporations.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just noting that you've specified at Mortal Kombat 11 with regards to the face scanning and such, I feel like you're actually discussing Mortal Kombat 1's face scanning technology.
I think they're doing the same tech, and we've talked about this before on Bitesized episodes, but the engine makes it look more cartoonish in the new Mortal Kombat 1. But
I don't mean to digress from your point. You do have a very, very important point here, which is that as you continuously change the team, everything changes. It has an impact on every single aspect of that studio, whether it comes to individual projects, whether it comes to the actual atmosphere, whether it comes to people actually applying to join the studio as well.
yeah, and of course this is their mobile team, but like their mobile stuff is actually really good. We've even had a soul streams about Onslaught, and it is it's cool, it's different. It's like the Shaolin monks of the mobile games, because I don't even play Mortal Kombat Mobile that often, but Onslaught I was into. Like it was fun.
Onslaught was a breath of fresh air, both with regards to the actual fact that the lore was cool. It was something completely different. Obviously, it was making use of the aspect of Mortal Kombat that we're not all very happy about right now, which is the whole multiverse theory, fine. But it did it in such a way where it was actually pretty cool, and I get why they went down this route. And it was cool to just have that different lore in it. And then also on top of that, come on, just that intro animation.
Yes.
That was so cool. And I don't know, everything that came out about Mortal Kombat Onslaught, aside from, and that this is the biggest negative, and it is a mobile game, so I am going to mention it, the monetization. Everything aside from that was cool. Even like the gameplay itself was a lot more interactive than MK Mobile. MK Mobile is just tap, 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 tap.
Right.
Tap, tap,
yeah.
Tap, right. And ironically, you could argue that Mortal Kombat Onslaught is similar. You're tapping as well, or you're not doing anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like with Onslaught, I would turn off that automated stuff, and I would specifically choose my targets.
There's a lot more agency to it.
Yeah, you can of course let it grind itself if you want to, but that's not very fun, and everybody knows that. And so, yeah, I enjoyed actually playing the game, and then getting all the little cinematics after each chapter and stuff. Like that was a reward in itself.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with each chapter focusing on specific characters as well. That was really cool to see. And also, one thing that I think that MK Onslaught does way better than MK Mobile is the sort of collector aspect to it. Mortal Kombat Mobile, you have to collect multiple versions of the same card to make that card even usable. So it's like, oh great, I finally got, what is it, MK11 Scarlet. I can't use her, or I shouldn't use her until I get 9 more of her. Whereas in Onslaught, although I think this did sort of change as I sort of put the game down when I became a bit too busy, but in Onslaught, everybody was usable as long as you sort of leveled them up and gave them the right equipment. So the grind was there, but not to the same extent as far as my experience would suggest. Just nowhere near the same level as MK Mobile. I don't know, Onslaught just felt like it did things differently, did things in a really cool way. I liked the different takes of each character. It was cool seeing different versions of Kenshi and such, of course, but I don't know, I think the biggest loss here is the lore, and I'm surprised but also not surprised that it's Onslaught that's apparently cut and not MK Mobile and Injustice 2 Mobile.
I'm actually very surprised about it because it's such a new game. At this point, MK Mobile and Injustice, I feel have ran their course, but you know, there's still a lot of people that play them. In Onslaught, I'm disappointed, honestly. Yeah. And the thing is too, is they're shutting down Onslaught and they've lost team members, but what else were these team members working on? And Mortal Kombat Mobile has said that they're going to continue supporting it, but what does that mean? Is it like actually continued support, or are they reshuffling things around behind the scenes and getting ready for Mortal Kombat 1 Year 2, or what they're doing for their DLC or whatever's coming out soon? It makes me worried about the Mortal Kombat mobile franchise as a whole, and if we're going to see like more Mortal Kombat content's awesome. That's what we always want. We want more Mortal Kombat, like every Mortal Kombat fan does. And are we going to be seeing less of that, or is it just all going to be focused on the video game?
Just looking at the actual post by the official Mortal Kombat Onslaught account on Twitter, or X, or whatever you call it nowadays, we are sorry to inform you that Mortal Kombat Onslaught will close its operations in October. It has been an honor creating this game for our community, and we appreciate the enthusiasm from our fans. In the coming weeks, we will share specific timing of the close of the game. That has later been confirmed by the same account to state that the game is shutting down on the 21st of October 2024. and that the game will be removed from the App Store as of the 22nd of July. So depending on when you're watching this video, it may already have been taken off the App Store. Now, as you said, Phantom, this game just released. Like by the time the game shuts down, this game will have been around for about a year. Just over a year, actually, if you count from the actual official release date. The official release date for Mortal Kombat Onslaught was October 17th, 2023. So October 21st, 2024. That is 4 days and a year. Give or take. Yeah. And what does this do for your sort of, let's just say, enthusiasm and trust in the product?
Oh, that is a tough question to answer, because there's been so much criticism of Mortal Kombat 1, and it just makes you wonder what's happening behind the scenes. Part of me is like, okay, this is awesome. We're getting hopefully more focus on Mortal Kombat 1, and they're about to blow it out of the park with year 2. And another part of me is like, oh, like you had a cool product and you're shutting down a cool product to work on a product that has received a lot of criticism. So is that a good sign?
See, this is something just quickly that I do want to comment on, in that you're addressing the criticism of Mortal Kombat 1, but not also of Mortal Kombat Onslaught. While Mortal Kombat Onslaught is something that a lot of people did enjoy, I'm even going to mention the Fourth Snake, our friend, very critical of Mortal Kombat, loves Mortal Kombat very dearly, absolutely loved Onslaught. Then that's saying something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was really cool to see the lore bringing people into the games. The fact that you could see characters that are missing from the latest game in Mortal Kombat Onslaught as well. But then I do want to address the fact that there were also fair criticisms of Mortal Kombat Onslaught, and monetization, as I've mentioned, was definitely one of them. And that is actually probably my biggest criticism, aside from the fact that you're losing an entire team here who are out of jobs and have to find their livelihood somewhere else. But what about the players who have actually put in money? I'm one of those people who just does not buy into the monetization. Like even with Mortal Kombat 1, I'm going with the Dragon Crystals that I've either earned in game or that I got from actually getting the collector's edition.
Yeah, same.
But I'm not going to buy extra Dragon Crystals. If the cool skin comes out later and I don't have the Dragon Crystals, sorry, no, you're not getting my money. Just because I don't want to contribute to that sort of practice. But I love the franchise. I just don't like the monetization process, especially when you're already paying for it. Now, Mortal Kombat Onslaught, okay, it's a free game. So people can spend their money as they like, but then you've got people putting in money into this game, which is barely a year old and shutting down. So they've put money into the game, have barely gotten to use whatever they put money into it for a year, and then that's it. That money's gone.
Maybe that's part of the issue too, is that not enough people are putting money into it. Because like with Onslaught, I never put an additional cent into it because it was manageable with the type of rewards that we were getting. And I loved it. That's why I played it more often than any other mobile game I have, honestly. Maybe they just, like we've talked about before, maybe they need that money and that revenue is not coming in through this mobile game, so why keep supporting it? And this is just me kind of playing devil's advocate on this one. No,
but you're completely right, because Mortal Kombat Mobile, as far as we're aware, is continuing. Mortal Kombat Mobile is extremely monetization focused. In fact, my main memories of playing that game are you open up the game, you do your 3 daily ad watches.
You open the game, put your credit card in, and then...
Straight up, looking back on that, I'm so glad I put the game down, just because that is a disgusting sort of practice. I'm sorry, but it is. I love Mortal Kombat. I love collecting the characters and such, but am I really turning on this game to just watch, and by watch I mean throw my phone to the side while an ad plays, watch advertisements? It's obviously the monetization here is the main focus, and that's why Onslaught is the one most likely being shut down and MK Mobile is not. You specifically just said it is a fun mobile game, and yet it's the one being shut down in comparison to Mortal Kombat Mobile, because Mortal Kombat Mobile most likely has the better monetization or is bringing in more. And that's kind of what we addressed in this episode as well. Like, it's what benefits the company's shareholders the most rather than the actual fans and what they want. It's a very big disconnect. You won't have that money coming in if you only focus on making the money and not focus on the fun. So with Mortal Kombat 1, as you said, there's some criticism of it for sure, and a lot of the criticism is definitely justified, but we also have to remember this game is still growing. It should definitely, in my opinion, have been better than it was on release. It did feel a bit undercooked, but I have no doubt that by the end, I'm going to put in quotation marks, the end of its life cycle, Mortal Kombat 1 is going to clear Mortal Kombat 11 out the park for sure. It already does so with the roster. It already does so with the gameplay for sure. Like, I understand if you have problems with maybe the art style in comparison. I know you prefer the Mortal Kombat 11 art style, fair enough, the art direction rather. But like Mortal Kombat 1 story for me over MK11 story, easy choice between the Mortal Kombat 1. Roster, same thing. Gameplay, same thing. It's a lot more fun.
Well, you say that too, and Mortal Kombat 11 had very, very similar criticisms.
Yes.
As is happening with Mortal Kombat 1. And
which people forget.
Yeah, they really do, and it's so strange to me. Even myself, who was very critical of Mortal Kombat 11, I find myself going back and playing it because it's a more complete game, and it plays pretty well now, looking back at it. But
because that's the life cycle. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So all we can really hope for is that once the game is like polished and in that perfect state, that it continues to get support afterwards. And unfortunately for Mortal Kombat Onslaught, it was still getting polished, I think, when it got put away.
Yeah, that's a shame, because we're talking about how Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1 have done so well. They've been selling so well in the top sales of games in the US. I know that people keep saying worldwide. I'm pretty sure we have confirmed that that's not the case. It is specifically to the US, at least based on our last couple of videos. Maybe now it's different. But it is a shame, and it definitely has that residual side effect on the fan base, because it demonstrates that people cannot trust the product as much as we would hope that we can. Even with Mortal Kombat 1, many people, including ourselves, were saying, if this is the amount of content on release, why not wait until the complete edition later? And there is an entire community, even just looking at Reddit, there's an entire subreddit called Patient Gamers. They will wait until the complete edition of a game goes on sale before grabbing the game. And that seems to be the most rewarding experience. You might miss the ongoing support for it, but at least you know that you're not going to get dropped midway through that game's life cycle, and that by the time you enter the game play of that actual product, it is a full product.
Speaking of, Mortal Kombat 1 has actually been on sale quite heavily lately, down to like 60% off of the both editions, which we'll leave a link in the description below so you can have a look at that. But that's a significant price reduction. Has Mortal Kombat 1 even reached its full year life cycle yet?
The game released around the same time as Onslaught? No, September 14th, 2023. Yeah.
So right for Onslaught then. 2 months before 1 year, and we're already down like over half price on it on a lot of platforms.
Now is about the time that you would expect it to be going on those heavy sales. That's totally fair. But the whole point of this discussion is really to discuss the fact that whether it's layoffs or just certain decision making at the studio can have an effect on the fan base as well as shareholders and just generally the studio as a whole. Seeing the studio being affected to this degree as well is going to potentially have a long-term effect on the actual games themselves. Say a new mobile game is announced tomorrow and the beta comes out. Are you going to play the beta? Or are you going to think, maybe I should wait a little bit? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I guess a better question is, are you going to put money into it?
That too.
At this point.
Yeah, but are you going to invest time into it? Time is as important as money is. It really is. So are you really going to invest your time, effort, and money into this game when you don't even know if it's still going to be around even a few months from now, let alone a year?
Right. I guess this question is extended out to you, the audience. How you're feeling on Mortal Kombat Onslaught? Do you think it's worth investing into a new Mortal Kombat game when this is how one of the most recent releases gets treated?
As well as the employees. Because I feel for them. I really do. They put out a great product, in my opinion. I'm the first person to criticize mobile games, but this was actually a fun and well-made mobile game. Again, I will address the monetization, but everything else, I really enjoyed the game.
Well, also, I'm really going to miss their advertising team, and I'm hoping they are still there and continue to do what they do. But some of the best Mortal Kombat advertisements in the last few years has come from Mortal Kombat Mobile.
Mobile or Onslaught?
Mobile, which I think they handled for Onslaught also, because it seemed like very similar art styles, very similar types of ads. And so I'm just hoping none of that was affected, because it's probably, in my opinion, one of the best marketing teams that they have right now. But
even design wise, I remember like the design team, like looking at that Assassin Scarlet, that should have been an MK11 for sure.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys think as listeners here?
Do you think that shift from potentially mobile gaming into console gaming will actually lead to an increase in quality? Do you think that the second year of Mortal Kombat 1's DLC will be better than the first year?
Are you sad to see Onslaught go? Would you rather have been Mortal Kombat Mobile or Injustice 2? Let us know in the comments, because we are very curious to hear what you think.
Thank you for joining us today, combatants. If you found this discussion enlightening, then why not further support the channel by buying us a coffee?
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Your insights contribute to the ongoing conversation around Mortal Kombat, and we look forward to hearing your unique perspectives.
If you found this Tarkatan Bitesize episode interesting, be sure to check out our other Bitesize videos, as well as our other content, including guest interviews and deep dive analyses.
Until next time, remember, every warrior has a story, and every saga a lesson.